You've probably seen numerous videos flooding your feed today about Samsung's new Galaxy Z Fold 6 and Z Flip 6 smartphones. If you watch those first impression videos, I promise you this isn't another one of those. Instead, I wanted to address an important issue on how a single-dimensional, almost insane focus on AI by some of these companies is restricting true innovation on the hardware side. And this launch is a prime example of that. I mean, how is it that small brands like Nothing, for example, with the Phone 2, can come up with incredible features both on the hardware and software front that people actually want, but big brands, they just seem to want to jump on the AI hype train, and a lot of those AI items, well, they aren't anything new because many of them just feel like an idea searching for a reason to exist. I mean, check out what Samsung did. The bulk of Samsung's Unpacked event highlighted features revolving around Galaxy AI, which isn't anything new, okay? We already saw this with the S24 series back in January. Features like Circle to Search is pretty neat, but Live Translate isn't anything new. Google has had this for years, and it's most likely going to perform the same on your existing smartphone with Google Translate. It's just going to keep getting better when Google rolls out updates. Then there are other features that feel unauthentic to me, like Chat Assist, for example, which eliminates the authenticity of natural writing because when you start to rely on these automated suggestions, it just removes that personal touch that makes writing so unique. And then there's Sketch to Image, which I think is absolutely pointless. I mean, the results, first of all, take forever to generate, and they're pretty bad. I'm not sure if I would ever use something like this. You see, during the briefing that I attended, there was no mention of any major hardware improvements, and I can't blame the PR team for this. I mean, I appreciate the time they took to organize these meetings for creators, but I left that meeting disappointed, which is why I'm making this video. Every smartphone manufacturer emphasizes how the built-in AI assistant can enhance the smartphone experience, like making it faster, smarter, and more personalized to cater to your style. But you have to realize that the bulk of these features are cloud-based and not necessarily dependent on the specific device that you're using. None of this functionality is processed on device, which means all these software-focused features can easily be added to existing smartphones through updates and apps. I'll give you a perfect example. When Samsung announced Circle to Search, they made it clear at launch that it would be exclusive to the Galaxy S24 series. And well, look at where we are right now. Google has already added it to their Pixel phones. Samsung, lightly in response to the declining sales of the S24, decided to include it as an update to previous generation Galaxy devices with One UI 6.1. So if you have a Galaxy S21, S22, or S23, Galaxy AI is already on your phone. And look, I'm not pointing fingers at just Samsung. Google is planning to use AI as a forefront feature for the upcoming Pixel 9 series that is expected to launch next month. Their push for their latest Gemini assistant has been everywhere, including my Pixel 8. I mean, I don't want to have two separate assistants trying to get my attention. Just update Google Assistant to make it better. You don't have to rebrand it to make it look like it's a completely groundbreaking feature or a product. Aside from a newer design and an expensive price tag, I think that the Pixel 9 is just going to be another Pixel 8 with the software features that were announced at Google I/O. Apple is also another great point of discussion here, guys. The first half of WWDC showcased all of the exciting features for iOS, iPadOS, macOS, and watchOS. But if you look at the rest of the keynote, or the second half of the keynote, it kind of gave us a sneak peek into Apple's future roadmap with Apple Intelligence. They're beginning to integrate various writing tools and generative image tools across different parts of their ecosystem to make interactions more intuitive and efficient. So this makes me wonder if the iPhone 16 is just going to be an iPhone 15 with little to no major hardware improvements. It's probably the case. It's painful to say this, guys, but my interest in reviewing smartphones has taken a bit of a toll. They used to be exciting back in the day, with models like the HTC One, the Galaxy S7, the iPhone X, and the Nexus line. Nowadays, it seems like the big brands seem to be innovating by focusing extensively on productizing a software ecosystem with a me-too approach to AI. The current smartphone landscape just lacks genuine innovation, guys. I think the Fold 6 is a perfect example of this trend. It's like Samsung learned nothing from the Fold 5. You still get that narrow front screen. The specs hasn't really changed that much, while both Google and OnePlus found ways to make their foldables much more usable. The Fold 6 also has the same camera systems, memory, and storage configurations, and the same battery capacity as the Fold 5. I mean, sure, there are some small improvements like a sleeker profile, a marginally better processor, and a new IP48 rating. And yeah, I mean, you can get these in some tasteful colors. The Z Flip 6 is also a rinse and repeat cycle right now, but it does get a bigger 4000 mAh battery, a slight bump in memory, and the main camera gets a 50 megapixel upgrade. But overall though, both phones just feel like a vehicle to push new software rather than anything really innovative. And to make matters even worse, Samsung's even asking you to pay more for the privilege of more AI, since both the Fold 6 and the Flip 6 are $100 more than the 5 series. You see, many people ask me whether foldables are the future of smartphones, or if there's anything exciting about smartphones these days. Now, to answer the first part, I still think that this technology is intriguing and it offers a unique user experience, but its high cost is a significant barrier. It's likely going to remain a niche product rather than a widespread trend. Now, for the second part, we haven't seen much innovation in the smartphone market either. If we switch lenses to something like the Google Pixel 8, for instance, many users are still experiencing issues with Tensor G3, including numerous glitches with Google's native applications. And supposedly, from what I read, the upcoming Tensor G4 for the Pixel 9 series will continue to be based on Samsung's Exynos chipset. I mean, how hard could it be just to listen to user feedback and improve software and hardware optimizations for future phones? It's just not happening. I think true innovation is happening with smaller sub-brands like the recently announced CMF Phone 1 by Nothing. It's an attractive price point and modular approach are actually pretty compelling, and it's geared towards a very unique market like India, for instance. I mean, who cares if it has a plastic back? It's most likely going to be more durable than the $1,500 phone that you're carrying in your pocket. I feel like this approach is actually fascinating because it actually opens a lot of possibilities for future add-ons and creative accessories to solve unique problems. Carl Pei actually made the CAD files for the Phone 1 public, and the response has been pretty positive. And I feel like this move not only fosters transparency, but it also invites collaboration and innovation from enthusiasts and developers who basically think on the same wavelength. Like, imagine if Google, Samsung, or Apple introduced truly innovative add-ons like Nothing did. But they won't, because their focus is on locking you into their ecosystem to harvest your data and encourage you to spend more money on their accessories. Buying your first iPhone can feel like a gateway drug at first. And then you're enticed by the AirPods because you just want a better audio experience when you're traveling. And then you find yourself needing an Apple Watch. And then before you know it, you're contemplating on getting a Mac. And then when you have all set up ready to go, and if you just feel like switching platforms or jumping ship to something completely different, it gets super complicated. Another significant drawback of these modern smartphones is their lack of repairability, which I'm trying to be as vocal as I can about this matter. It ultimately limits consumer choice and sustainability. Instead of addressing these existing problems, it seems like smartphone manufacturers are just turning a blind eye and just playing it safe by harnessing AI. Look, I'm not against AI. In fact, I think it can be incredibly beneficial in a lot of ways. For instance, it can be used in applications that can detect fraud, predict travel times based on your driving patterns to avoid traffic, and model climate changes. In fact, one of the best uses for AI is real-time language translation, basically analyzing text for emotions and processing spoken words, which can come in super clutch when you're traveling. Above all, I think AI plays a huge role when it comes to analyzing large data sets for scientific research in different fields like physics and biology for simulating complex experiments. I just find it frustrating when smartphone manufacturers use AI as their primary marketing tool for their stagnant smartphones. And I want to hear from you all. Do you think AI is gradually stifling innovation in the smartphone market? I'm actually curious to know how many of you actively use these AI-driven features. What are you looking for smartphones these days? Let's keep this an open discussion. Thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.